Hi, I'm Greg McIntyre, and this is my show and my adventure on turning $150,000 into $1 million within 1 year. Hey, again, I'm not your financial advisor. I do not have financial licenses, and you should not take advice from me. Absolutely not. But I have committed to sharing the ups and downs and the learning adventure that is experimenting with different financial markets and tools to make $1 million out of 150,000 in 1 year. And I put in my own money to conduct this experiment. So enjoy. So I should give some context to this part. What I worked on this week in the quest for $1 million in 1 year, starting with 150,000, is margin, is trading on margin, which is basically borrowing money against marginable securities that you have. Some securities are marginable, some aren't. I learned that this week. And then purchasing stocks with that borrowed money. You pay a percentage rate every day for the money you borrow, and making quick trades to purchase, ride the stock for an increase, sell, pay off the margin, and then take the profit off the top. If you decrease, then you'll get a margin call, and you'll have to pay when you sell the stock not only what you owe on what you borrowed plus the percentage rate on what the money costs to borrow, but also you'll have to pay how much you lost, and you'll get a margin call. So because what you borrowed will be more than what you sell the stock for. So a margin call could be painful, but I'm not super worried about a margin call because the stocks that I went in on, I did not believe would drastically decrease. If they did, I could be in trouble. Or I'd just have to pay it out of my other stocks, so sell some stock to pay it. Regardless, let's see how the week went. Theme, trading on margin and trying to avoid a margin call. It's Wednesday, January 20th. Word of the day today is lots of stocks are up. Airbnb's down, but I'm kind of hot on Netflix. I just finished purchasing about $130,000 worth of Netflix. Netflix posted 200 million subscribers yesterday. And, I need to get used to acting on this information and intelligence quicker. But it's up like 20%. It's up today, huge. So I'm going all in, and I'm going in on margin, a lot on margin. Okay, probably about 120,000. I'm getting ready to purchase another $19,696 worth on margin. So if it's down, then I'm going to have a margin call and pay that margin. But my bet is that it's going up based on the information and the market's faith in Netflix. We'll see. Here's me doing the trade. I made several dollars a share on this trade. Good trade. Many times when you see me filming, I'll be working in this building. Love the building. So I've been working on trading and studying and really been looking at buying on margin this week. So that's something that I'm trying to get comfortable with. I think it's something that can be dangerous. It's somewhere I could lose money. I had some pretty good luck with trades so far this week. I'm also trying to learning to identify different pieces of information that come out regarding a company and how it affects stock price and when I should take action, which is generally earlier because I miss out. For example, yesterday, Netflix had a big run and went up about $80-something a share. I got in on that run and got about $6-7 a share out of it. And I bought on margin I bought about 120,000 on margin. So I made a few $1,000s, sold it immediately after, and then it went back down today. So it was a good thing that I sold. That sell trade went through this morning. And first thing, when the markets open at 9:30, close at 4. Most people know that. Some people don't. There was some information that came out Monday. And it was that Netflix had finally reached a milestone, 200 million subscribers. That appears to have inspired confidence from the street. And a lot of people went in on Netflix, driving it up. If I would have bought, though, when I got that information on Monday, which is public information, it was in the Journal, Wall Street Journal, then I could have ridden, instead of a $7 bump and several $1,000s, I could have done a $80-something bump, which would have been about $30,000. But I'm glad that I'm blessed that I made the several. How about that? So, gratitude for that. And then today, yesterday I was watching the news and, just looking at how with the inauguration that happened on Wednesday, that Amazon came out in full support of lots of efforts that the new president is supporting, and with the COVID-19 efforts, getting the shot out, everything else, offering help. And I think that resulted in some runs for Amazon again, or for Amazon today also. So Amazon's a pretty pricey stock. It's trading about $3,300 a share. And I did buy about 160,000 worth of Amazon, and I got several dollars per share bump out of that, okay? Which equaled quite a few $1,000s. So right now, where I was sitting at 154 this past Sunday, when I did my last show, 1 million in 1 year, now I'm sitting at over $164,000. Now the market's had some gains too, but some of that is buying on margin and then selling at a point before, like Amazon today started going back down. So I actually hit it after it peaked and started going back down and got several dollars per share. I'm moving toward more of a day trading model with margins and or maybe a portion of my stock. And I'm setting aside a day to do nothing but research, work on financial licenses, which I'm studying for, and day trade, and really get the strategies down. But if you think about it, if you made $2,000 a day in the market, day trading, for example, that's over $500,000 a year, like 560, with 261 trading days in a year. It's like $562,000, which is awesome. So I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now. I did go in pretty heavy, about 76,000 in after I got out of Amazon today. I bought in about 76,000 on margin for Airbnb, which had a run too. It went from about 160 something to 180 today. But for some reason I bought in right at 183 and then it dipped and now it's sitting at 180. And the question is, do I sell and get out just with a few dollar per share loss? Or do I hold at 70 with the 76,000 in margin? I'm tempted to hold, even if it's for a week, a couple of months, because I really have a ton of faith in Airbnb. I love Airbnb. I think it's a undervalued stock and it's going to go through the roof, 10 times what it is right now, at least. When the country opens back up, air travel opens back up, everybody gets vaccinated. So interesting questions. And there's no wrong answers, really. So, I mean, I could sell right now and get out with my margin positions. I have a lot of other just straight owned stock that aren't bought on margin in Airbnb too. Or I could go in heavier on margin on Airbnb. So, working on it. But I have, since Sunday, what I'm proud of, I have taken it up about $10,000, from 154 to 164. And today's Thursday. So if I can make gains tomorrow before the market closes, then it'll be a very productive week. If I did that every week and with other gains in stocks, splits, things that happen in the market with stock, I might have a shot at this 1 million. I'm working on it. I'm still working on breaking down my strategy. So I commit first and then figure out how to do it. That's the thing. I've committed to 150,000, turning 150 into 1 million within 1 year. January 1st to December 31st, 2021. And right now I'm at about 154 to 164, over 164. And we'll see where I finish up Friday. I'm tired. It's been a long day. And I'm gonna record some from tomorrow just to show you the finish up of the week. And just to hit on margin trading really quickly. Margin trading is where you have, let's say you have 150,000 in stock. You own. You can essentially borrow against that or leverage that at a percentage rate through a trading house to buy more stock. And then when you sell the stock, it pays off your margin balance, whatever that is. And your margin balance will increase the longer you hold the stock because your percentage rate per day is going to tack on. So, and what your profit is, if you have any profit, is the difference in what your margin balance is, or what you paid for the stock plus the percentage points for that money, and you get to keep the gains. So that's trading on margin, which I think can be risky. From the standpoint of this, really, I don't think it's risky, okay? I'm not worried about it at all. Here's why. Because if something like Netflix dipped $20 a share, with the amount of shares I bought, I would have only been out about $5,500. If it goes up several bucks a share, then, I make several $1,000s. But Netflix stock isn't going to dip to zero or evaporate. So at the most, it's just going to take I'm going to take a small hit. That's why I'm not super worried about it. And I don't have to be right all the time, just more than I'm wrong. So I'm working on it, learning margin right now, making some mistakes, but hopefully I'll win more than I lost by the end of the week. We'll see. Super happy. I'm up 10 grand about 4 days into the week, but still scared. So what I did was I started purchasing Amazon on margin. Then I sold for about a $15 per share bump. Great trade. Then I took my profits from both days and I purchased cheaper Airbnb stock. I really am high on Airbnb long term. That's a buy and hold this year for me. Then I got a little cocky and bought 400 on margin. I found out today that there are marginable and non-marginable securities. And when I bought Airbnb is a non-marginable security. But trading platforms like E-Trade and others will give you equity purchasing power based on the equity you have in your stock. That's outside of margin. So I didn't buy Airbnb on margin yesterday. I bought Airbnb with my equity purchasing power, and it's down $3 a share. I'm pretty freaked out. It's 9:19 in the morning, and the market's open at 9:30, and I don't know whether I should sell or not sell. Should I sell my Airbnb stock right now and take a $3 per share loss. It wouldn't be that big of a deal over 400 shares. It's like a $1,200 loss, which is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Or should I hold? I'm really conflicted, and I need to get really clear in 10 minutes on whether Airbnb is going to go up or down today. Because if it went up to 190, that'd be great. If it went up to 200, it'd be even better. If it goes down to 160 again, then I don't have a $1,200 loss. It's 20 times 400, which is $8,000. $8,000. So that's the risk you take. I'll continue to learn about margin and let you know whether I win or lose.
I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
Woo! Finished about 12 grand up from 154. Good week. I had to throw this in here. All right, so I ended the week up. Stephanie, are you happy about that? I've learned a lot about margin trading this week. Margin trading. I ended the week up quite a bit, about $12,000 from the 154 that I posted on Sunday. Mainly for margin trading. So I learned some things this week. One, there are non-marginable securities. So I tried to buy Airbnb, and I couldn't buy it on margin. It was weird. It would only let me buy like $72,000 worth, 400 shares, instead of the $160,000 that I had in margin previously. And what that is that's borrowing on equity that you have on certain current securities if you buy a non-marginable security without actual cash. So I was hoping that I could ride a wave for Airbnb, which went up about $20 on Thursday. But I caught it, I bought it 183, then it went down to like 179. So I actually lost out. But I held. I held till Friday, and at the end of Friday, it's almost at 182. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to hold, and I'm going to see what it does on Monday, and see if it goes up. I'm going to see if it goes a little higher. I'm going to see if it goes up to, say, 190, 200. I think it could hit that next week. The problem is it frees up my margin if I sell. So, or it keeps me from using my margin if all my equity is tied up in Airbnb. I don't really think it'll dip down. I think it'll keep going up. But I'd like to clear those 400 shares. So right now I'm a little stuck on being able to make quick pops off stock with margin. So I'm still in margin mode and learning about margin. That's what I'm going to keep doing next week. I'll keep you informed. I'll let you know what my trades are next week. But I hadn't lost my shirt on Airbnb yet. I'm just down about $1.50 per share. I'd like to. So it's been a great week. Saturday morning, Britton in here, working on the gun show. Britton and I have been talking about currencies this morning, crypto, stock.
It's gonna happen to that big one,
and the big screen setup that we're gonna do. Coming out with another episode of 1 million in 1 year, either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure. I just have to edit it out and finish it up. You'll get to see how we traded on margin this week, and it ended up
not bad.
You'll see. I'm at an office on a Saturday. It's late afternoon, and I'm just finishing up the show, 1 million in 1 year. I was looking at some of the investments. It's been a good week, but probably a lucky week for me experimenting with margin trading. This whole experiment is to take 150,000, turn it into 1 million within 1 year. I could have easily lost much more money or money, and I did not lose any yet. But I do want to get out of my positions, my 400 shares in Airbnb, so I can free up more margin power to continue that margin experiment next week. I'm going to continue and see if I can make bigger plays and bigger gains. Got 12,000, about 12,000 last week. I'd love to get several times that, 3 to 5 times that. If I'm going to take 150,000 and convert it into 1 million within 1 year, then I'm going to need to make some bigger plays. That's one way to look at it. But then another voice says, if you keep the pace of the 12,000 a week, maybe amp it up a little bit more than that, then that would put you on pace to be close to the million with other gains in the addition of the initial 150,000. That math works out pretty close. So, I'm working on getting it boiled down to a science and to something that is a repeatable process. And right now, I'm just experimenting with margin. And again, I could have easily lost a lot of money doing that. I think I just got lucky and didn't. And I'm working on not being lucky and trying to be better and learn to act on the intelligence that I have, the information that I'm getting, and act quicker. So thank you for watching. Please, this whole experiment is so that I can learn and share. So let's talk. Hashtag let's talk is what goes with every one of these posts and one of these shows. So send me a message. Let me know how you invest. Let me know if you have any questions about what I'm thinking. I will share. I am not a licensed securities broker. I'm not your financial planner. I'm just simply sharing my adventure in a capitalist economy with capital markets to see if a normal person can take regular information that's out there in the newspapers and on other sources and can apply that information to take 150,000 and turn it to 1 million in 1 year. Thank you so much for watching this show, which we called Margin Call. See you soon. Really, really happy though that I ended the week up about 12 grand. And if I could continue to do that, then I took it to about 166,000 from about 154. If I can continue to do that, then I might have a shot at actually hitting the mill. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be some rocky road ahead.